നമസ്കാരം സുദിനത്തിലേക്ക് പ്രിയപ്പെട്ട ഏവർക്കും സ്വാഗതം. വാർത്തകളൊക്കെ കണ്ടു കഴിഞ്ഞ സുദിനത്തിൽ ചേരുമ്പോൾ ഏവർക്കും ശുഭചിന്തകൾ നിറഞ്ഞ നല്ലൊരു ദിവസമാകട്ടെ എന്ന് ആശംസിക്കുന്നു. സുദിനത്തിൽ ഇന്നത്തെ അതിഥിയെ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുകയാണ്. ഇന്ന് നമുക്ക് രണ്ടു പേരാണ് അതിഥികളായി സുദിനത്തിൽ ചേരുന്നത്. കഥയില്ലാത്ത കഥകളില്ലാത്ത ഒരു ലോകത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് നമുക്ക് ചിന്തിക്കുവാൻ പോലും ആവില്ല. കഥയാണ് മനുഷ്യനെ ജീവിപ്പിക്കുന്നതും വളർത്തുന്നതുമൊക്കെ. കുഞ്ഞുനാളിലുള്ള വായനാ അനുഭവങ്ങളാണ് ഓരോ മനുഷ്യൻ്റെയും സാംസ്കാരിക മനസ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നന്മയുടെ ഒരു മനസ്സ് രൂപപ്പെടുത്തിയെടുക്കുന്നത്. അതുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ നമുക്ക് ഏറെ അറിയേണ്ടതുണ്ട് ബാലസാഹിത്യത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രാധാന്യത്തെക്കുറിച്ച്. കുഞ്ഞു മനസ്സുകളിൽ പ്രചോദനം നൽകുവാനായി ഇന്ത്യയുടെ വിവിധ ഭാഗങ്ങളിൽ വ്യത്യസ്ത മേഖലകളിൽ പ്രവർത്തിച്ച 51 സ്ത്രീരത്നങ്ങളുടെ ജീവചരിത്രം ചെറുകഥകളാക്കി പുസ്തകരൂപത്തിൽ ഇറക്കിയിരിക്കുകയാണ് കാറ്റർപില്ലർ വിങ്സ്. ദ ഡോട്ട് ദറ്റ് വെന്റ് ഫോർ എ വാക്ക് എന്ന തലക്കെട്ടുള്ള ആ പുസ്തകം, അതിൻ്റെ പിന്നിലും പ്രവർത്തിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് 3 വനിതകൾ തന്നെയാണ്. സുദിനത്തിൽ ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം അതിഥിയായി ചേരുന്നത് ലക്ഷ്മി നമ്പിയാർ, റീമ ഗുപ്ത, പുസ്തകത്തിൻ്റെ തന്നെ കോ ക്രിയേറ്ററായിട്ടുള്ള ശാരദ അക്കിനേനി നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ഇന്ന് ചേരുന്നില്ല, എങ്കിലും ഓർത്തുകൊണ്ട് തന്നെ സുദിനത്തിൽ ഇന്ന് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം അതിഥിയായി ചേരുന്നത് ലക്ഷ്മി നമ്പിയാരും റീമ ഗുപ്തയുമാണ്. പുസ്തകത്തിൻ്റെ തുടർന്നുള്ള വിശേഷങ്ങൾ അറിയുവാനായി നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം പങ്കുവയ്ക്കുവാനായി ഇരുവരെയും സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു ഹൃദയപൂർവ്വം. നമസ്തേ ലക്ഷ്മി. ഹാർട്ടി വെൽക്കം റീമ. യെസ്, ആസ് വി നോ, ഈ പുസ്തകം ഡോട്ട് ദാറ്റ് വെന്റ് ഫോർ എ വാക്ക് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇറ്റ്സ് മെന്റ് ഫോർ ചിൽഡ്രൻ. It's purely meant for children, not only for children, it can be, it's meant for all other adults also.
Yes.
But I would like to know, എനിക്കറിയേണ്ടത് ലക്ഷ്മി, basically you are an investment banker, right?
Yeah.
Now you are into this creative field, art field. How this transformation, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു മാറ്റം, എന്താണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ പിന്നിലുള്ള മാറ്റം?
So, ഞാൻ ബിസിനസ് സ്കൂൾ ചെയ്തത് ബോസ്റ്റണിലാണ്, ആൻഡ് ആഫ്റ്റർ ബിസിനസ് സ്കൂൾ I got into investment banking.
Yes.
So, last about 8 years, 10 years, ഞാൻ investment banking ചെയ്തു. പക്ഷെ on the other side, എൻ്റെ അമ്മ started an art gallery. ഹൈദരാബാദിൽ ഒരു art gallery. സൃഷ്ടി art gallery. So, ഇപ്പം it's 18 years old. And so, അതുകൊണ്ട് ആർട്ടിനോട് ഇഷ്ടം എനിക്ക് അപ്പോഴേ ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. ആൻഡ് നമ്മൾ ആർട്ട് കളക്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങി 2003 തുടങ്ങിയിരുന്നു. പക്ഷേ എൻ്റെ കരിയർ ഇൻവെസ്റ്റ്മെന്റ് ബാങ്കിങ്ങിൽ വാസ് ഗോയിങ് വെരി വെൽ, ആൻഡ് സോ ഐ വാസന്റ് ഷുവർ വെദർ ഐ ഷുഡ് ബി ജോയിനിങ് മൈ മം. സോ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ കുറച്ച് കാലം കൂടെ ചെയ്തിട്ട് ആർട്ടിൽ കയറാനായിരുന്നു വിചാരിച്ചത്. പക്ഷേ ദാറ്റ് വാസ് മൈ പാഷൻ. പക്ഷേ എൻ്റെ അമ്മ unfortunately 6 years മുന്നേ she passed away.
Okay.
So അത് കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പം I decided to give up investment banking and continue on with the art gallery.
Materialistic ആയിട്ടുള്ള, ഇത്രയും time consuming ആയിട്ടുള്ള profession വിട്ട് you got to art field.
Yes.
Right?
So I keep saying yes, absolutely right. Investment banking, it's long hours, but exciting work. And a lot of money.
Yes.
But this is on the creative side. It's driven from the heart. It's passion.
Yes.
And you're living around creative people, around creative things. Other, it gives motivation. It just gives you blood to every part of your body in some way. So അങ്ങനെയാണ് ഞാൻ സൃഷ്ടിയിൽ ജോയിൻ ചെയ്തത്. So it has been 6 years since I joined സൃഷ്ടി. പിന്നെ നമ്മൾ 3 ഫ്രണ്ട്സ് ആണ്. We decided to create this book.
Yes, I am coming to that. Okay. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഏവർക്കും അറിയാം റീമ ഗുപ്ത ആൻഡ് ശാരദ അക്കിനേനി മലയാളികളല്ല എന്നുള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ എങ്ങനെയാണ്, I am coming to Reema now. Yes. How you happen to meet Lakshmi and Sharda, and what made you think of this book?
Sure.
Yes,
no, thank you, and I apologize to your audience for not being able to speak in Malayalam.
Okay.
But I think this started about 2 years ago. I've known both Sharda and Lakshmi, but not professionally. We were friends. We knew each other, and we all live in Hyderabad. And the beauty of all 3 of us, we always love to say, is we are all mothers of daughters.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's something
daughters ആണുള്ളത്.
Yes. That's something we cherish and champion. And so the idea started actually when we started thinking about who are the role models for our children. And we would, as friends, talk about it. And we found that there were very limited sets. I mean, at least when we grew up, we had few role models. But our kids, sadly, entertainment world is big now thanks to sports. Actually, sports personalities are coming up. But again, very few. And so the idea came up is that there can't be that limited set. So we said, why don't we put together a list and explore?
Exactly. That means if we ask the children, who are your role models, they can suggest only from industry, entertainment industry or like that. No. So do you find it very difficult to point these ladies, 51 ladies, to make out these ladies?
Yes, so it was, so we thought, we wouldn't find many names. So when we thought, we'll say, okay, maybe 20, 25 names in the book. But actually when we started looking, we are amazed. I mean, at the number of women that are in India that have achieved a lot. And we were really thrilled to see all these gems, right, who have really made an impact. And we actually had a list of 200.
200, okay, you have to...
So the problem was the other way around, is to narrow it to 51.
51, okay. Out of this 200, you have to come to 51 famous personalities, only women. Okay. Now to Lakshmi. Different so REEMA, she is working with Indian Business School. I mean, she co-leads that Women's Excellence and Leadership Initiatives, and so far you have been to investment sector. She is already into women empowerment area. How you happen to be in this?
So, and when she was younger, books mostly you find fairy tale books. Tamara, yes. So, Tamara ke Cinderella, Rapunzel, a book ka nokiale, eppurum kananada, it's damsels in distress. Princesses always a problem and down, and the only aspiration namala kuttile to the princess is that get married or find Prince Charming. So there is no career aspiration they are putting into a girl child. So adonde njan Tamarene Cherdamba ee books onnum vaikkan koduttilla.
Fairy tales, right?
It's all these fairy tales. Fairy tales are good because it creates imagination and builds on your imagination. But ingante fairy tales, it does something else also to the psyche of a child. And Tamarikonnum vaikan kodutilla. But school poyapam ellavarum idana princess stories and princesses are very important in that age group. But I was there to talk to her and tell her that, see, the princesses have no aspiration. The princesses are only looking for Prince Charming.
Prince Charming.
And always avare problemthilirikkum. And the prince comes and rescues them. Adana nammal oru cheriya kuttike cherudamba molke parnu kodukkunna.
That സ്ത്രീകൾക്ക് സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് രക്ഷപ്പെടുവാൻ സാധിക്കില്ല.
And ആരെങ്കിലും വന്ന് rescue ചെയ്യും, കല്യാണം കഴിച്ച problem solve ആയി. Basically that is what fairy tales do, and it's a social conditioning. Cherudambre parne the kids are growing up. So adugondana it was very, very dear to me, this topic of giving children stories which are real, of women who have achieved, women who we can look up to. Adu vaayikumbam kuttalkum oru aspiration ullile create out. So that is the reason how I got into this.
Exactly.
And also another thing is that ee stories nammale 51 stories undu, പക്ഷേ art is also a very important part of our book. So nammale 51 women artists ne vilichu, എന്നിട്ട് we told them, please, draw how you feel, like how you need to showcase the role model. Adonde namukku, if you look at it, there is one lady, avare paper na kondundaki role model image.
Medium of work,
medium of work. There is paper, there is colors, of course, there is cloth, there is stitching. So we want to tell the child that there is no one way of representing a role model. There are many ways. And also another important part for me running Srishti Art Gallery is that നമ്മളിപ്പം പുറത്ത് പോയാൽ നമ്മളൊരു കോൺക്രീറ്റ് ജംഗിളിലാണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. മ്യൂസിയംസ് ഒന്നും അധികം ഇല്ല. ദർ ആർ ആർട്ട് ഗാലറീസ് ഒന്നും നമ്മൾ പോവില്ല,
വിസിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാറില്ല.
സോ നമ്മളുടെ എസ്തെറ്റിക്സ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് എൻഹാൻസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുക? യുനോ ഹൗ ഡു വി എൻഹാൻസ് എ എസ്തെറ്റിക് സെൻസിബിലിറ്റീസ്? നമ്മൾ ഡിസൈൻ തിങ്കിങ് ഇന്നോവേഷൻ ഇതൊക്കെ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, പക്ഷെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ഒരു എക്സ്പോഷർ വേണ്ടേ, അത് കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വൈ യുനോ ദിസ് ബിക്കേം എ വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് പ്രോജക്ട് ഫോർ മീ പേഴ്സണലി as well. And it is something that, you know, since if tamara 8 years, you know, I've always thought about that. So the minute this came about, I was like, this is definitely, you know, something.
Now to you, Reema, in this book, the opening note itself is mentioning, I mean, your mother, right? That I would like to. She was telling that I want to be like the lady in the white coat. It's about your mother, Reema.
Yes.
Could you please explain?
Sure.
Please share with us more about this.
Sure. And before I start the explanation, I do want to thank my partner Shada, who said, Reema, your mother's story should be going into this book. So actually, thanks to Shada for reminding me. But definitely, you like most children, your mother is an inspiration for you. They are your role models. But I think my mother went beyond that, and she was an inspiration for the next level of generation. Because our next level of my cousins are all doctors.
Oh.
And they're all married to doctors.
This white coat is that of doctors,
the white
right?
coat represents a doctor profession. And I actually come from Rajasthan, from Jodhpur, and my mother grew up in a very conservative Jodhpur family, where girls' education, unlike Kerala state, which is phenomenal in literacy, we are still getting there. And especially in those days, this is 1950s, you know, girls' education was not a priority. My mother's elder sister actually got married very early at the age of 13, 14, and she had a child. She was expecting a child around 16, 17 years of age.
Okay.
My mother was 10 years old then, and like, you know, younger daughters are generally sent to the older daughter's house to help them with household chores and so on. So my mother's mother sent my mother to her sister's house, saying, go help her out with the household chores and stuff like that.
Just like any other girl of that period.
Exactly, of that era. And so my mother said, sure. And, you know, so my mother's sister was expecting, and she had actually gone into labor. And then everyone was running helter-skelter to figure out what to do. You know, someone is warming the water, this, that. And my mother is going back and forth. And suddenly she saw a lady in a white coat appear. And she just remembers that tag. It was Dr. Shakuntala. And she says, I just saw that white coat and I saw her take charge. And to me, at that point, I realized I want to be like that lady in the white coat. I don't want to be like my sister. And she said at that point she didn't know what being a doctor meant. She didn't know that she had to take science subjects. She didn't know English. She was and she barely studied in Hindi medium. They were actually planning to get her married too. And so she went
just
home.
Like a sister.
Just like a sister. And she went home and she told her mother, you tell me whatever housework you want me to do, I'll do that for you. But I don't want you to, send me to school. So, and then the rest is history. She did become a doctor. She's a very good doctor, actually, a pathologist.
And how you happen to come up with that?
So we joke, she rebelled and became an engineer.
Generally, there are a lot of studies that say second child generally rebels. And since all my cousins, everyone was a doctor, I said, I got to be different. So I chose engineering.
Maybe because of that, we got this. Right. Reema has contributed very much to this book, right? As author, she has authored many, this short stories. And what about എനിക്ക് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത് ലക്ഷ്മിയോട് ചോദിക്കാനുള്ളത് ലക്ഷ്മി സൃഷ്ടി ആർട്ട് ഗാലറി റൺ ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ along with this ഇതിനു മുൻപ് തന്നെ from 2002 തൊട്ട് അമ്മ തുടങ്ങിയിരുന്നു രമണി നമ്പ്യാർ തുടങ്ങിയിരുന്നതാണ് അത് യു ആർ കണ്ടിന്യൂയിങ് ഹർ ലെഗസി റൈറ്റ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് ആ ഒരു ഐഡിയ ആ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമുക്ക് ഈ ബുക്കിലേക്ക് കൊണ്ടുവരുവാൻ എത്രത്തോളം ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്തു ലക്ഷ്മിനെ
can you repeat the question?
Yes. How much that, I mean, that part of yours, that creativity, how much helped you in bringing out this book?
I think it was a big part of this book because if you open the book, apart from the illustrations, we have very many line drawings as well.
Exactly.
You know, how the dot becomes, if it's a cricketer, the dot continues and becomes a cricketer. And the whole experience of the book is with the art in it. So all of us were equally, you know, involved in every part of the book. Three of us were equally involved. But for me, I think this was the art was the one that really was important. But even the kind of paper we used, the printing that we did,
the text colors.
Yeah, the text colors, the colors of the pages, the way the line becomes the dot becomes the different. This is Lata Mangeshkar, Appa mic,
harmonium,
harmonium kana, you know, Ella Bhatt is there. So different stories, the way we present the book. So it's not just a children's book. It is a family book. It is a book that can be enjoyed by the mother, the father, the child together. And simple language stories
very interesting.
Yeah, like if you think about the stories that are there, we have the story of Lakshmi Kutti Amma, who is a tribal medicine lady. Meenakshi Gurukal, Kalaripaittu. Yeah, so ivarin jokiyam idile full Kerala. Sorry, ende Malayalam itri weak aanu. I lived outside of Kerala. So I'm attempting to speak in Malayalam.
Thanks for that. Okay.
So apologies for that.
Okay. Now to Reema, I would like to know, we have so many publishing houses here, in India, but our students or younger generation prefer to read books from, abroad.
Sure. Yeah.
That is publishers from abroad, right? Why this happens? Is it because that we don't find, that interesting stuff here, or what's the problem with that?
No, I think you have hit the nail right on. Actually, last year we attended a Neves Literature Festival, and this is in Bangalore, and they are exactly trying to do this, push Indian children's literature forward. And I think we also, when we grew up, we grew up with Nancy Drews and all this, right? All the famous five and all those stories. And sadly, when it is good to get exposure, but we also need our literature because you can relate more to it, right? When you're reading about scones, like they'll have these picnics and they're eating this thing and you're trying to picture what that is versus, our own food. So now the good news is that we are seeing, this was a little bit of a area that was not really, considered, and there was definitely a gap in children's literature. We do have very good literature, adult literature in different languages, but sadly not children's literature. It was left to Amar Chitra Kathas and Jatak Kathas, right? We all grew up with that. But I think from 8 to, let's say, 16, there's not many of our literature that children can access. But I think thanks now to Indian authors, one great example is Devdutt Patnaik, right? He has actually taken all our mythological and really put it into something that can be digestible by a kid and you can relate to it, those stories. And similarly, there are a lot of now, Paro Anand is another author we met at the Children's Literature Festival, where they are bringing out stories that our children can connect to. So I think we are seeing a bit of a change. Yes, Sudhamurthy is a big one. And our goal is also through this to bring those stories, our stories, Indian stories out to the larger population.
Lakshmi, enakku chodikkanullathu idu ellathilum streegalana 51 women personalities are included cheyidirikkunnathu. But this book is meant for boys also, right? How can you relate with that, with gender equality? Only female are included in this book. Females are included. And how could you expect the other part to read this?
So that's a very important point that you bring about. Initially, when we started with this book, we thought, okay, this is for the girl child. But through the process, this can't be just for the girl child. Girl child importance, it's very important because they say if you see it, you can be it. So you're showcasing different possibilities. But I think it's also important for the boys to read this, to create that gender neutrality. Because even boys name any, as Reema said, name any role model, they can't come up with anybody. They don't see, and they don't see women as achievers. They think of men as achievers, right? So the minute you start showcasing women as achievers who have excelled in their field, I think again psychologically you're affecting the boys' boy child, you know, because they look at women in a different angle. Either if you don't present it to the boys, the boys have no idea, just like the girls. And I feel, especially in our country, it's equally important for the boys to see women as achievers. So now we say it's a book for boys and girls. We say it's a book for a family, because the family can enjoy. And these are stories. Of course. You know, it's fun stories. And anybody can enjoy them. But there is equal importance that now we give to boys. And that's also the reason why, even if you look at our title, it's not saying 51 women role models.
Yes, the dot that went for a unique one.
Yes, thank you.
So it's a very gender neutral title, which we made sure it's gender neutral.
Actually, that I suggested the top.
It's a long story. You know? We and you know, I'll come to that, but we were not able to agree on a title. Karanam, one of us wouldn't like the title. In Korea, we tried titles. Then finally, we came up with this. And REEMA, do you want to
no, and actually
talk
we should,
about
I think that this is thanks to Sharda. So we were flying to Delhi, and you know, we were debating, and this, you know, and so we said whatever we put in this has to be something that we all agree upon. And it's not just two of us, all three of us have to really agree upon it. So we were throwing titles back and forth because the book, you know, was going into publishing and we needed the title. Title is missing, what do we call it? And so we are on this flight and, you know, we landed in Delhi because we were attending an interesting talk, and, you know, Sharda says, REEMA, I think I've got something for us to think about. And she says, you know, there is a famous quote called "A lion is a dog that went for a," and I'm like, we can't agree on a, you know, basic title. This woman is talking about lion and dog, and how does that fit in? And actually, there's a very famous Paul Klee quote. He's an artist, and he said, "A line is a dot that went for a walk." So we expanded on that concept, and we said that line, you know, dot can be anything. So dot to us means possibilities. And when you go on a walk, you can become whatever you want.
Walk of life, right?
Walk of life. So exactly. So that is beautiful. So actually the poem at the back captures some of these thoughts where you said, hey, life is a canvas. You can become a masterpiece. You can become a novel. You can become anything you want to be, so far as you go for it.
Coming to that, I mean, in the again, no, we have that assignment project.
Yes.
I bring to that.
And just to add to that, so, you know, what we said, a line, a dot when it goes for a walk, you know, a line is a dot that goes for a walk. So we also say when a dot goes for a walk, it can make a line. It can make a circle, it can make a squiggle, it can make whatever it wants, patterns. So the possibilities of what you can do with the dot is endless.
Yes, exactly. At this point, I would like to ask you about the Ikigai concept. Could you please explain?
Sure. So we were invited by Hyderabad Literary Festival, and we actually we did something.
Previous week you had, right?
Yeah, just this weekend.
Just this week, last weekend. And they were kind enough to say that we want, you know, children's really love your workshops, so please come again. And we actually did 2 workshops with them. One was a workshop, and again, these are for different age groups. One was about designing your cover page. So the idea is that you take this concept forward and get the children to imagine they are on the cover page of a magazine and what that would be like. And you know, we connected to role models. So maybe imagine a role model who you really admire is giving that trophy or an award to you. What would it say about you? What are the traits it would admire? So
to make them dream big, right?
Yes.
And if that is how they're imagining themselves on the cover page, if they want to get there, who are the role models that will help them get there? So we want them to think about that. What are the traits that you need to get there? So start getting them to think.
അതിനു വേണ്ടി പ്രയത്നിക്കുക.
And ആലോചന, നമ്മൾ അത് ആലോചിക്കും കൂടി ഇല്ലല്ലോ. നമ്മളുടെ ലൈഫിൽ we are going on with the flow of things.
We are sticking to studies, schooling.
Exactly. So it's a thought ആണ്. Once you put that thought in, then they start thinking like that. And that's the same thing with Ikigai, you know.
So Ikigai is a Japanese concept. So this is another thing that we said, what can we do with older kids, right? And especially kids who are going into 9th standard, 10th standard, because they're starting to choose subjects, they're starting to think what they want out of their careers. And in India, sadly, we don't do much of career counseling or talks, right, about what they want. It's always like, hey, this is a good profession, go join it. You know, you should become a doctor. You should be a
doctors are the
we are generally telling them what to do rather than getting them to think. So I came across this concept called Ikigai. It's a Japanese concept, and it translates into your reason for being. And the reason why it actually attracted me was actually I just went for a Vipassana camp, which was all about self-reflection. And kind of, it just brought these things together. I said, you know, why don't we do a workshop on this? And surprisingly, there was good audience attention, like participation. So the Ikigai concept is about finding your purpose for being.
What does it mean?
A journey.
Ikigai means what?
Ikigai, Iki is life, and Gai is purpose. So it's about purpose of life. And you know, that is the core question, right? If you want happy citizens, what is it that makes us happy? Is, you know, you can say yes, wealth and all this stuff, but in the end, if you go to the core of it, it is about your purpose in life. If you feel you have a purpose, yes.
And beyond passion also. It's not just passion. You have to be paid to survive. You have to get paid for that.
So it's a very practical model. So, you know, people say, oh, will my child go into something and not be able to earn, right? But if you look, as Lakshmi said, there are 4 key questions you have to answer. First is, what is it that you love to do? What is it that gets you out of bed every morning? Second is about what are you good at? It's not enough that I love to do something, but I'm not good at it.
Or also to find out where is the intersection between the two. You know?
So this both, I mean, form passion.
Right. And if you're not good at it, but something you love, like especially when you're children and, you know, you can learn it, right? So it's very important to keep that in mind, that it's not a fixed skill that if I don't have it, that's it, I'm doomed. No, you can make yourself better by...
No, it's a journey.
It's a journey. Then the other 2 things are what makes it more practical is, one is about you, the other one is what does the world need, right? So they say that actually you should never ask a kid what they want to become. Ask them about what problems they want to solve. So the idea is to build on that concept and say, what does it, do you need to, what excites you, what does the world need? And last but not the least is, what is it that you can get paid for? So as Lakshmi said, right?
You can't, you know.
And the intersection of all these 4 circles is Ikigai.
Lakshmi, we are going to wind up the show. Before that, I would like to ask you about this artist who did this artwork.
Yes.
Ellam Strigalana. Kochu penkuttigal mudal. I mean,
no, these are all professional artists. The writers are small kids. So we have 51 women artists. They're from across the country. And these are artists who are established artists. There are emerging artists, painting cheyunnathu, graphics cheyunnathu, all of them are there. And the idea was we wanted to bring a collection of artists who are a little bit diverse as well, so that we get an end product which is different. But we have writers, we have 10 writers, out of which 5 writers are 12-year-old children. And they have written the best stories. Karanam, they have the simplicity of their thought and language is excellent. Simple item. Nammalellam complicate complicated words use him. And beautifully written. You don't need to use complicated words. You know, you can convey the message and the stories, you know, equally well with simple language. So it became an aspiration for a lot of the other writers. You know, their stories.
One of the best critique and editor of a book was actually Lakshmi's daughter Tamara. She would say any complicated word, she's like, I don't understand this. So she took a red pen actually and went through all our stories, and we would dread it when she says, what is this, auntie? I don't understand. So
but that exercise was excellent
because we could simplify the stories and make sure that it is accessible to the children.
Okay. Then what's the coming project? I mean, next project of Caterpillar Wings? Are you planning for any other?
So, you know, this book itself, we have extended this. Karanam, nammalde larger vision enda vechale, ee nammalde makkalakku vaayikkunna English version of the book aanu. പക്ഷേ നമ്മൾ government schools poya rural areas la the need for this book is a lot more. So we have translated the book into regional languages. നമ്മൾ Telugu book launch idu, and നമ്മൾ almost 12,000 copies.
And this book has been launched by Deepika Padukone, right?
Yeah, this is she's one of the role models, and it was launched by Deepika Padukone. And so we just launched the Telugu version of the book, and we've printed about 12,000 copies, and we've gotten a corporate that allowed us to distribute the books into rural areas, government schools for free.
Okay, appo namukku malayalathilam
Malayalam definitely
that's the next in line.
That's next in line, and
we're looking for partners and corporate sponsors to come, because it's a work of collaboration. So we want more and more people to connect with us and join us in this journey.
Okay, thank you. Anyway, thank you so much for joining with us. Thank you so much.
And thank you
so much for having us.
It's a pleasure. Anyway, I can suggest that this book is definitely, without any hesitation or reservation, I can say that it's a worthy addition to any library. Okay, all should have a personal copy of this book.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you
with
so
us.
much.
Thank you for being with us. പ്രേക്ഷകരെല്ലാം തന്നെ സുദിനത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് നിങ്ങളുടെ അഭിപ്രായങ്ങളും നിർദ്ദേശങ്ങളും ഞങ്ങളെ എഴുതി അറിയിക്കുക. അറിയിക്കേണ്ട വിലാസം ddsudinam@gmail.com. ഏവർക്കും സുദിനം ആശംസിക്കുന്നു.